Hello, it's Glux here. I'm gonna present you like my Ravaged Blight map strategy and loot breakdown. And this video is focused on the loot part. You can find the strategy tips and footage of me actually running the maps, 10 maps in a row, showcasing that I can do this in 70 minutes pretty much accurately. So I run this with a stopwatch and I learned that whatever you do, it's usually 7 minutes. Sometimes you fail, but that's because of the build. So you can see I'm not using the mage blood, which I have. Just ashes of the stars and pretty much basic gear without any fireworks here. I'd say it's like 100x build, but 50x or 20x build probably could do this strategy. All you would need to have to do if you really fail, sorry, if you really fail, all you have to do is uncheck this node, right? So this is like all the difficult that comes with the Ravaged Blight. The monsters are like very tanky. They have half of the health more. So if you have like 200 basic health increased and you increase this by additional 25%, that's additional 50% of health. This is a lot combined with all the crazy mods you get from orbing the maps, and you don't control it. So the seismic trap is good for this because essentially we are not reflecting anything. We can run all the types of mods besides monsters cannot be stunned and monsters monster speed cannot be reduced under the base value, which is actually a showstopper for the freeze tower enchant anoint actually, right? So yeah, you cannot run this. But besides that, I run everything. So, some maps are harder, some maps are easier. What is really annoying is like this haste buff that some monsters get. So if you have like a cold freeze immune tower and it's you somehow spawn this haste buff for all the monsters, they just rush into your tower. And if you are building something or far away and you cannot deal a lot of damage, you just lose, right? So this build has basically, let's say, not many defenses, right? So if I pop my flasks, you can see that, okay, I have spell suppression, but the evade is not kept, the physical damage reduction is not kept, so I die a lot. It doesn't matter. I still fail like 4 maps out of 50, and 3 of them were because I was tired in the evening, and it was my fault, not really the map. Maybe I would fail like 2 per 50 with this build. And of course, I have another character. We will see how good it manages Ravaged Blights, but it has Mage Blood and it's built around Mage Blood and Ashes, so I assume it won't die. The only thing that I'm concerned about is damage. If I can deal as much damage as with Seismic, right? So not extending this any further. This is the loot, right? So you can see we have a lot of currency. Those stacks are 10 high, so you can count like it's of course 200, maybe I don't know, 63, right? Chaos. This currency comes from selling items that I dropped, and I sold them during farming. So it's 140 chaos. I do not sell bases. I have some bases now in my filter, like Hubris Circlet or Valor Regalia I-86 plus. I will check if I can sell them pretty easily. I don't have too many startups, so I don't want to spam my inventory with garbage, right? So we only base on mostly this load, so there's nothing else I would actually pick. And this project is also going to help me adjusting my filter, right? So I'm already running like Aber's strictness level 5 of never sync, which I adjusted for Blighteds. I filtered out a lot of things, and without further ado, let's jump into Excel, right? So this is the breakdown. So the whole 50 maps, because I divided my 100 maps project into two phases, right? So the first phase was 50 maps. I wouldn't stick more into this tab. I don't want to divide it into two tabs. That makes no sense. I think it's okay if I run this in 2 different days. So one day, 6.5 hours running blighted, then another day, 6.5 hour running blighted maps. I think that's pretty fine. We will see maybe some shift in economy, or maybe I don't know, different day, different loot tables. Maybe I will drop another strangle gasp or not. But anyway, here's here's what the loot looks like. Average loot you will get is 150. Uh, that that's let's say without the strangle gasp, but this is not filtered or sorted with things like divination cards, right? I did filter essences in my Exilence next, and anyway, since blighted maps only drop screamed essences, they are not even in this included in this. But anyway, this is 150, like the average. This is the cost for 10 maps. It's approximate, right? You could also like put it 300 here. It wouldn't matter too much. It's like okay, 150 more. That would lower a little bit of our income, but anyway, the map is like 15C. You can buy it on TFT in bulk for 15 if you're lucky. If not, then 18, maybe 20. So yeah, the cheaper you buy, the more you can go down. Then Crimson Oils are two each, so that's another 6. So that should make you like most of the cost. Then it's about juicing, so it's up to you, right? So the fragments are self-sustaining. You maybe need to buy like one type per, I don't know, 100 maps for 20, 40, 30C. Then it's all about using alchemy and scores, so it's up to you how you want to run your rarity. You can roll up to 40% of rarity and then valor bit. What I experience is that when I valor like 49, 48, 50 rarity maps, it takes it down to 28, 29. And when I valor like 35% rarity maps, it only goes up. I don't know how it works, to be honest. I just learned that I'm rolling maps from 35% rarity plus. I just valor a bit and I'm running it. I will have another video how to choose maps and just showing you how I do this. It takes me 5 minutes, 10 maps 70 minutes, so that's actually 388 including my fails. It's interesting that when I fail, with the teal oils you can still get some loot out. So if you fail like in the middle, you can still have some chests to open. And how the crimson oils works, I think they will be also always crimson oils. So whenever I fail and then I have like currency chests, I get exalted orbs, or if I have oil chests, I get like tainted oil. So yeah, even if you lose, you might not, let's say, lose it completely. That's a huge difference between non-teal oil ravaged runs. So I really suggest you to start running teal oils if you can't. And yeah, if you can't, then get your Atlas passive off, make currency, get better build, get to the point where you can run this strat. And maybe it's not the best strat from the income perspective, but it's let's say very steady. Uh, you always get what you expect. There's not much variation. Yeah, you can see it varies from session to session, but if you run it for a day or two, it will still average to the same amount. And the biggest differentiator is strangle gasp. So that's one thing. So okay, without further ado, let's jump into breakdowns. So this is the category breakdown first, which is, I believe, showing you what we saw previously in the stash tab. This looks pretty fine to me. We have like 60% of our loot in currency, which is sellable in bulk easily. You won't get much profit, much more profit out of it than it's in here, because yeah, people sell currency like in bulk always. So there's not much to gain like with scarabs, right? So if you, for instance, have a strategy that prints you scarabs, then you can get a lot more than you can see in Exilence Next. It's not really the case here. With oils, it's completely different. You get more if you sell oils, let's say, in in lower stocks, right? So you can sell opal, or you could sell opal for 10C for most of this league. Now it's 8 to 9, and if you sell one, it's 9. If you sell two in a bulk, it's 8, right? So it's up to you. The more trades you do, the more you earn. On the other hand, it would be easier to sell everything for 7 and never trade again. So it's up to you. Do you want to minimize trade? Then maybe this amount will be lower. If you want to maximize loot, then sell single oils and do many trades. The maps are like Shaper Guardian, Conqueror maps. Gems are like random gems. It's weird that Exilence Next doesn't pick up powers. The power is 55C, so we have. I had to add this separately, unfortunately, but I calculated this into the total income. So yeah, the total income was 31x, and yeah, this is the breakdown. This is with Strangle Gasp. We can see it's like very expensive. Actually, I calculated this as 15x, but the Strangle Gasp is let's say 19, 20 maybe. This is because people corrupt it and then use recombinators to make a +2 amulets or some really end game crafts with 4 enchants, which is awesome. And I'm planning to do one by the end of the league, so I don't know. I have a toy in my standard. So yeah, so with the item breakdown, yeah, we can see that exalted orbs are almost 20% of our income. The tainted oils are like 10%. So you have like 1/3 of your items in, let's say, uh, pure currency, because this sells very well for 1x. You don't have to wait for long. So that's basically an exalted orb in this league. Stack decks is a gamble, so that's an additional thing. If you like to gamble, you can open them yourself, and this is the most fun you can get out of the game, right? Because this game is like one big gamble environment. And yeah, what's really good is that you get a lot of items. So if you play like SSF or something, this is pretty good because you get everything. Your startups are like filled with almost any possible currency. So you get all the fragments, you get like the the lab materials, the divine vessels, splinters, fragments. You only don't get these fragments at all, I guess, only from divination cards, but there's not much. So you get scarabs, you get bridgestones, right? You get fossils, but not all the fossils, right? You can get some resonators. But anyway, right, going back to the loot. So yeah, so to sum up, right, I'm managed to get 31 exalted orbs in one day, in 6.5 hours. It was pretty easy. That sums up to for almost 5 exalted per hour, and with the Strangle Gasp drop, it's 718. I'd say this is pretty low score, and in the second phase I expect this to be higher. Yeah, it's 50 runs, and we had like one very unlucky run. So if this was like 150, we would get like 5.5 exalt per hour, and this is every time you do this strat, right? So you don't need to be lucky, it's just by running it. If you are lucky, this can go up to even 10 exalteds per hour, and I had these sessions where I got like exalted orb, tainted oil, and golden oil in one map, which is already 3 exalteds in just 7 minutes, right? Remember that it's just 7 minutes, and if you want more, you can sell like rings, amulets, right? The bases, and this sells for a lot, right? So, for instance, this should be like 5 to 10C, and you can get up to 3 per map. Um, if you want all the bases like the boots and etc., it's like really tons of currency, but you need the stash tabs. So if you already have like I don't know folders with tabs for bases, then you can really pop this number up. But then also you need to sell them on TFT, which I don't really like, right? So it's like not my favorite thing to do, but I do sell things on TFT from time to time, of course, right? So that was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll have like another video after I run another 50 maps that will come maybe next week. So I hope you enjoyed, and check out my other videos for Strat and the showcase. And please let me know if you are successful with this strat, or you need some help, tips, how to run it, maybe tower placement or something, or if you struggle, then just please let me know. Thanks, and yeah, have a good one. Bye.